أنا ما فهمتش ولا حاجة من الراجل.
Science is the doorway to progress. To have a better future, it is therefore essential to encourage young scientists and upgrade their interest in the field. FameLab is an international science competition that aims to make the learning of science fun, easy, and interesting. For the first time in the Middle East and Africa, this competition is to take place in Egypt.
The program mainly aims to bridge the gap between the research sector and the industry sector and to promote science and innovation in Egypt, leading to a more competitive economy and to a prosperous economy in Egypt.
The competition is being introduced in Egypt in support of the Egyptian government's efforts to advance science and to build a culture that understands and supports the positive role science plays in both the economic and social well-being of a society.
We're focusing on the science students, the science undergraduates mainly, and the science researchers. So it's anyone who studies or work on basic science, life science, and mathematics science, and Egyptians from 18 to 40 years.
The competition invites contestants to give a 3-minute presentation on a science-related topic, which they need to simplify and make as fun as possible.
FameLab mainly has the objective of identifying and nurturing talents in science communications. Basically, all the contestants will be asked to present in 3 minutes any scientific topic that they want to share with the public, and they will be judged by an expert panel of judges, and the judges will have 3 main criteria on their agenda, and this will be the clarity, content, and charisma. The content has to be scientifically accurate, and the presentation has to be very clear, and the person who is presenting has to be very charismatic. So these are the main selection criteria.
This is Dina Shuhaib reporting for Nile TV International.
Once again, live with today's youth. The topic of discussion is the excellence of youth in science and the FameLab competition that has recently been launched in Egypt. And we have 11 finalists, the selected winners, who hopefully one of them would be picked up to travel to the UK and participate in the international competition. Mohammed, you haven't told us yet about your own idea, the presentation that you've had.
Yeah. Actually, I come from a mechanical engineering background in education, and for mechanical engineering, we can consider Newton to be the father of mechanical engineering, so I had to think of something to present one of Newton's laws and their applications. So we have this on one side. On the other side, I wanted to think of something that will attract the people in a minute. And one thing all Egyptian people are crazy about is the football and the national team. And the competition was after the events of Egypt and Algeria and the match and the World Cup and all this history. So I started talking about who of you have watched the football game between Egypt and Algeria, and of course all of them did. And next to that, I asked the question that although the match was held in Sudan, and we have a distance from Cairo to Sudan like more than 1,000 kilometers, we were able to watch the match. And that was because the satellites that brought the images of the match to us in Cairo. So I related that, the satellites and how they move around the Earth without needing fuel or without falling with the effect of gravity, to Newton laws. It's a combination of some laws of Newton that keeps the moons traveling around the Earth all the time, like the moon, the natural moon. So that was the idea of the talk.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
That's nice. And you definitely succeeded in attracting people's attention.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yes, of course. Well, congratulations for that. It was a very creative idea. Back to this competition in general. If people are watching and they are actually have the creative minds and they want to be part of this, what were the criteria based on which you've actually been selected as final contestants?
Well, we were being judged on three main things: clarity, content, scientific content of your presentation, and
charisma.
Charisma.
Yes.
Charisma.
Which
That's
is a
interesting.
very, yeah, I mean, charisma, you can't pinpoint charisma, but
You
it
feel
exists.
it.
You feel it, yeah.
Were you all like getting in self-confident, knowing that this is one of the criteria that you'll be selected upon? Hamad,
Yeah, sure.
you were. I mean, did you make up any different attire while getting in, or were you confident enough? I mean,
Of course, it gives confidence in situations when it requires something to step forward and say something or to present something. And usually in the previous, I used to think to step forward or not. But now I know that I have something I have some skills that I can step forward and present, and people will understand what I'm saying. Yeah.
What about you, Hazem?
I think the key is in passion. If you are passionate about the topic you're presenting,
You'll forget about the whole world around you.
Yes, passion is quite infectious. Even if people do not acquire the same passion, at least they will appreciate your own. So I think when you're passionate about it, it really, really.
But you know, guys, what's quite interesting is because people usually think that the people who are very interested in science are usually, and this is not applicable to you, nerds a little bit, and they're not into social life. So having a criteria of being charismatic, being able to socialize, to have the presentation skills necessary to attract people's attention within 3 minutes, this is something different, right, in the scientific field. How did you feel it, Nashwa?
It is different. I mean, there are loads of excellent scientists all over the globe, but not all of them can communicate ideas to the public.
Very true.
A lot of them can communicate their topics and their area of interest to fellow scientists, but when it comes to speaking in a different, it's almost a different language. It doesn't matter if it's in Arabic or English. It's still a different language to a scientist if you can't use your technical terms, your jargon in your presentation.
And did you have to change a little bit of the language you would have used with different audience?
Of course,
You
of course,
did.
definitely. The technical terms are extremely complex, even for people from professional backgrounds, and you can't use these terminologies with public audience. You have to reach out for them. Science in and by itself may not be very attractive to the normal person, so you have to reach out and show him how amazing it is.
And assuming that you've done the same, Hamad, how did you paraphrase technicalities like satellites and moons and Earth? How did you manage that?
Well, using the Arabic language by itself was a challenge because we're not used to this in education, and also in work we use all the terms in English. So I had to find the translation that will best suit the people who are listening and will click with them. So that was the basic idea.
And did you sense that other contestants that you've actually seen their presentation lacked any of these criteria? Have you sensed this scientific identity in others, Haitham?
Well, the number of contestants was amazing. There was a huge amount of people applying, which in and by itself is great. So of course you get people who are very skilled at public speech and who can do an excellent job with that. People who are even very young, people who are still students in universities, and that was quite amazing. But some people do not, of course, have the same skills. It's like any competition that you see on reality TV. There are all sorts of contestants, but the number and the skills that were exhibited in this competition was impressive for everybody.
And we must say that it was beyond the expectation of the organizers themselves, because basically there were, if they were vying for 50 from Cairo, there were 200 from Alexandria, 100 contestants, and from SU there were 50 all in all. So basically they've had to distribute even the events, like if they were planning one hit, it became two. It shows how successful the event was and how many